Central Perk, Brian Wilkie, that's right?
Correct.
Yeah? And you're the man behind the Golf for Good, I understand.
Two of us originally.
Okay.
6 years ago.
Okay, so tell me what about Golf for Good.
Well, about 7 years ago, a friend asked me if I'd sponsor him to cycle around Cuba in aid of Guide Dogs for the Blind, the British charity. I thought that sounded like a good crack. So I rang back and said, no, I wouldn't sponsor him, but I'd go with him. So 4 of us went, we cycled across Cuba, we had a great time. The group raised something like £80,000 for the charity. And when I came back, I wrote an article for a magazine here, which said what a great idea it was. But it's a bit weird cycling across one of the poorest countries in the world to raise money for one of the richest. So I thought, this would be a good idea for here if it's adapted. And a few months later, the same friend wanted to raise money for an ambulance for Namibia. In the end, it went better than ever expected. So we got 49 people in the group, 44 of them got to the top, which is a record for a mixed ability group. And we ended up raising enough money for 4 ambulances. We had them delivered to Dar es Salaam, to Tanzania. We drove the 4 clear across Africa and dropped them off in the places. A team of volunteers had paid their own expenses, dropped them off in the place where they were meant for. And those ambulances are still going today. One's in Malawi doing blood donations in poor areas. The other 3 are helping out clinics in Tanzania and Namibia.
Okay.
So we look after them. So, and that's how Golf for Good started. So that was 2001. We've now done 21 challenges in 15 countries. There's something like 400 people on the challenges altogether, and we've raised well over $1 million. We've built hospitals in Nepal, we've done clinics in Palestine, with schools in Jordan. Most recently we did a challenge in Oman. We kayaked around the Muslim Peninsula, north of here, which was supposed to be a relatively moderate challenge, but we picked the first stormy week they've had in December for years, and it was a tough challenge. But it raised money for a blind school in Oman, in Muscat. The idea is we've given them computers and software that let blind people learn how to use computers and therefore get jobs working with them in call centres. And those people can actually join the workforce, get married, have a normal life. And it's making a huge difference to some people down there. And that's what Golf for Good tries to do. We look for charities in the region where the challenges take place. And then we'll buy equipment or we'll build something for them that they need.
So what are the challenges that you've got prepared for the next sort of 12 months?
Some great ones. I mentioned the motorbiking already in China, but the first one is next month in Borneo, which I just came back last week and checked out the route. We're going to be climbing Mount Kinabalu, the highest mountain in Southeast Asia, which isn't that high. It's only 4,500 meters, but it's a tough walk up and down. Not a climb as such, but a really stiff walk. But we're also kayaking, cycling on and off-road, and on the last day we make our own bamboo rafts and then we raft them down the river. So you're making your raft and you sail that raft down, so better make sure you make it well. That's an age of a local orphanage and some plantation schools. September in China, motorcycling. The month after, we've got 2 groups going to the Everest Base Camp. One is from English College in Dubai, and the other one is just a group of adults in general. 18 signed up so far, 25 places, walking to the Everest Base Camp, which is probably the toughest one we do, but a great challenge. Again, in aid of an orphanage in Nepal, in Kathmandu, and a hospital that we built a few years ago. In February, it's a Strand Loper in South Africa, walking along the beaches and the headlands of the Wild Coast for AIDS children. Next, Jordan, cycling, walking from the Dead Sea to Petra, and then cycling from Petra to the Red Sea at Aqaba, again aid of Jordanian charities. Kilimanjaro in July, our first one, still the favourite one. And then I think the last one next year is Madagascar, kayaking again, and we're looking at possibly putting in the Inca Trail in Peru we did 2 years back, and possibly a ski challenge. Normally we do 4 challenges a year, but they're all up on the website, which is www.golf4good.org. So it's golf4good.org. Or people can call our Dubai number, Dubai 3680
3680.
222. And what we're trying to do in Gulf for Good, if that's our very first objective in the brochure, is to bring together Gulf nationals and expatriates in a good cause. And we've had something like 34 nationalities on the challenges. And, you know, if you're walking to the Everest Base Camp for 12 days alongside somebody, you know, you see American teachers and German accountants and Pakistani housewives and, you know, people just walking along and getting to know and learn about each other. It goes a fair way towards creating a small community, and those ripples spread.
And the Golf for Good challenges, they're not just limited to UAE-based nationals. I mean, anyone can come along and do a Golf for Good challenge, and then that money gets distributed.
Yeah, the idea is that we organise a challenge, which could be, say, kayaking, walking, cycling, whatever. We've got a motorcycling challenge coming up in China in September, World War II replica bikes with sidecars, and they're going to go from Beijing to Inner Mongolia and back. But the idea is that wherever the challenge takes place, we look for a good cause in that area to support. So the Omani kayaking supported the Blind School in Muscat. When we cycled from Thailand to Cambodia a couple of years ago, supported an orphanage in Bangkok and one in a town called Battambang in Cambodia.
Do you think that there is a real focused drive towards, you know, companies in the Gulf region to become CSR positive?
It's coming. Dubai founded last year the Dubai Centre for Corporate Values just up the road here in Media City. And their brief is by the end of this year to introduce some guidelines for companies to contribute to CSR in many ways. And a lot of companies are starting to do it. We've seen it with projects like DuckTac, Dubai Community Theatre, with Gulf for Good and other things, Foresight recently. The companies are increasingly saying, yeah, okay, let's just get away from the pure zakat idea, the Arab idea of giving alms and help, just to the very poorest, but help a variety of causes. You've got things coming up, Gulf for Good, for example, with the beneficiary of a campaign starting very shortly, the first official national campaign in the region to recycle mobile phones, which Etisalat, DO, the Telecoms Regulatory Authority, are all supporting. And all the mobile phone companies are chipping in, so every phone that's recovered that they manufacture, they will give a certain amount to the company behind it, and half of that will go to Gulf for Good to help us in our drive for growth and for regional charities. And that sort of thing's coming about without coercion, without laws being passed.
Do you think it's a general sort of feeling now that people are maybe more aware through education, you know, where the money that they spend in the shops, in the high street, where it actually goes and how it's being spent?
Yeah, there's a bit of that. I mean, the fair trade campaigns and that sort of thing. I think also there's a bit of a sense now in this part of the world that people have done pretty well and companies have done pretty well. We're not taxed. All right, I know the level of fees of some things is getting a bit frightening, but there's still no tax. And I think people realise they've done well, they're a bit privileged, it's a blessed lifestyle, as I heard described recently. So it's time to give a bit back. And there's lots, even in Dubai, there's lots of needy causes. Around the region, of course, around the world, there's more than ever. So there's more of a feeling of helping others in general. And I think that's true of Dubai or Dublin or Darjeeling or wherever you have to be in the world. There's a lot more books and things written about it. The Live Aid, the Bonos and all the rest of it are getting more and more involved in people. And the young people behind it, which really wasn't true 20 years ago, I think. Now more than ever it is.
Alhamdulillah.
Orange,